do the sex.
More. Today's Locker Room Talkin' Shots topic is a kinky reboot, if you will, a blast from the past. As we are rounding up to the end of Kinktober, aka Locktober, I thought it was only appropriate that we revisit one of my favorite interviews, Confessions of a Cuck Queen. For those of you who are new to the locker room, this is a real treat. If you have heard of cuckqueaning in the past, but aren't quite sure what it's all about, by the time you get to the end of this episode, you're going to know it inside and out and from a very personalized point of view. If you have been in the locker room with me for a very long time, it is time for you to brush up on your Cuck 101 knowledge, because coming down the line for you in the next week or two, I have an episode on cuckolding. So we are going to get a completely different view of a very similar topic. Now, if you don't know what this whole cuck thing is all about, trust me, you want to stick around and find out. So I'm going to remind you all to please scroll down to the notes in this episode's description, and you're going to want to subscribe to my e-newsletter because, of course, I always make sure to send you guys all of these juicy episodes along with the content that I'm creating around it. But even more importantly, I've been inspired by Locktober and all the sexy, kinky topics we've been talking about, and I am partnering with some amazing brands out there to run some pretty sexy giveaways. I am talking sex toys, folks. Lots of sex toys, and some of you are going to get them for free. But the only way that I can get you the information about these giveaways and awesome products is through my newsletter. So make sure you sign up and stay tuned and up to date with, future episodes that are coming out, because you are definitely going to want to hear about cuckolding as well, especially after you listen to this interview. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Ellen, the Cuck Queen, aka sexual entrepreneur. Ellen, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Ellen, and I have quite a few avenues that I like to go for attention, mostly sexual attention, and I have naughty Twitter, naughty Reddit, OnlyFans. I like to sell my panties and my socks, and anything that anybody will buy, I'll sell it.
I would like to interject that Ellen did share with me she is currently, at this moment, wearing some white socks that will be going to some lucky buyer later. I feel like I'm taking part in something fun and kinky and literally doing nothing.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Very, very exciting, oddly so.
That's exactly how I feel.
And most importantly, for this podcast, you are?
I am a cuck queen.
A cuck queen. Yeah. And we are going to talk all about that. She's going to help guide us through this. Would you call it a lifestyle or a kink or both?
It can be both. I think for me, more it's a kink. The lifestyle of it is pretty involved, and I like to flow between kinks, so it's a kink.
All right, great. And today's cocktail / mocktail, Ellen is not a drinker, well, a mocktail drinker, is the Queen Bee, which is a gin drink. And essentially you can make it with gin or without gin, depending on the time of day and your mood and whether or not you're drinking. So, Ellen, thank you for joining me today. Let's raise our glasses and let's get ready to talk about sex.
I'm ready.
Cheers. All right. I am super ready for this. So I want to start with, I looked up the definition for cuck queen. First of all, I thought it was very interesting as a word. Nerd that I am. Cuck queen is spelled differently than I thought it might be. Queen is Quan, in case any of you dirty motherfuckers are out there looking it up. And I know you are. You're going to stumble upon cuck queen porn and spend all night rubbing one out to it. I I feel like, yeah, I feel like that might be on my porn menu tonight for one of my 365 days of orgasms. But, when I actually do call outs looking for people with certain experiences, and I did a call out actually looking for someone who had experience with cuckolding, and we'll get to what that is later, only briefly. But the first response, and Ellen did witness this, was someone responded, "Doesn't that mean cheating?" And then I went and I researched Cuckqueaning online, and I was kind of mortified because, here in the locker room, we do not accept any kink or lifestyle shaming. Mm-hmm. And the definitions I found out there were largely talked about adultery. I want to be clear. I'm going to read you the definition. This lifestyle / kink has nothing to do with adultery. It is a consensual situation that leads to everybody getting off. Mm-hmm. So the definition I found that I liked the most is a woman in a relationship who gets sexual enjoyment out of watching or knowing that her male partner is having sex with other women. Note, this is not adultery. This is a consensual situation. Yep. Does that sum it up right, or do you want to add to that?
Yeah, that sums it up perfectly. That is what I've gone off of as well. Mm-hmm. And it's simple as that.
Yeah, it's consensual. Mm-hmm. Her guy is not cheating. He's not doing anything behind her back, and she benefits from it in some way, and we will talk about that. Right. But I want to start with, so when did you first learn about being a cuck queen and think, maybe that's me and I want to do that?
I think I was already doing it and I didn't have a name for it. We are swingers, and so seeing him with another woman was like the highlight of any play experience. And so I found myself really looking for women that he could date and have sex with. Mm-hmm. And so I just found myself doing that. And then I think I was on Tumblr back when it was really nice and cool. And I started seeing stuff about cuck queens, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's me. I totally relate to that.
So let's time frame this. You have a partner. Is it a husband or just a partner?
Just a partner, not married.
But serious. Do you live together?
Yes, we live together.
Mm-hmm. How long have you been together?
7 years.
So swinging was your first step, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at what point, year-wise and into swinging, did this start to manifest?
Oh, goodness. We started swinging probably 7 or 8 months into the relationship. And I think I fell into this maybe a year and a half or 2 years in. And then in practice, it was probably 3 years in.
Meaning you put a name to it and you were like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. And there's a lot of nerves behind it. Like there's mm-hmm. a lot of anxieties and emotions that have to be worked out and figured out. And so like getting through those took time, and getting mm-hmm. the gumption to be able to say, yeah, go find somebody.
Can I ask you your identity, sexual identity? Are you?
Yeah.
How do you define yourself?
Bisexual.
Bisexual.
Yeah, very
mm-hmm.
bisexual.
I say that too. And sometimes I'm like, why do I say that? And I think it's because there are women who dabble in it. Mm-hmm. And then like, if you're someone who's queer as fuck and like you really are into women and you find yourself getting sexy with a woman who kind of dabbles, you're like, oh,
you can tell.
Mm-hmm. We're not on the same level.
Yeah. Like, you didn't say very bi. Yeah. And I can tell why you didn't say that now. Yeah.
I do. It's so funny. I do that myself. Yeah. I'm very queer.
Yeah.
Like I'm super mm-hmm. queer. That's interesting. I just want to interject that what you're talking about resonates with me. When I started, this is quite a while ago before I would say I really became comfortable being open about my sexual interests in life and sexuality, but started having my first threesomes with, at the time, a very long-term male partner. One of the things that threw me off before we even had the threesome together was I knew that in my own fantasies, masturbation fantasies, the thing I kept focusing on was the idea of watching a woman with my male partner. And it led to so much conflict because, of course, I assume you, I came into being in a society that's very monogamous minded, that still does not understand anything outside of the conventional monogamous structure of relationships. So I felt like something was inherently wrong with me that turned me on about that. And so I'm excited about this conversation because I think on some level, there are probably a lot of women, who find themselves getting excited and not understanding why.
Yeah. I have this amazing partner, and he's kind and generous, and he is amazing in bed, and he's hot. And like the thought of sharing him and watching another woman's reaction, it's like live porn in front of you. It's just amazing. It's electric. So yeah.
Before we move on, I have so many fucking questions.
I have so many answers.
I know, I'm excited about it. But what about it specifically excites you and turns you on? I mean, you're talking about that a little bit right now, but I think it's more complicated and layered than that. So
it is, and it's evolved. At the beginning, it was very. It wasn't an internal thing. It was just like something I wanted to see or do or taste or whatever it was. And so the fantasy started with, I don't know how gross you can get, but
we want details. It's not gross. This is not gross.
The fantasy started with, wanting to clean up him and a woman after he comes. And so cleaning up his cum, like out of her, cleaning him, like with my mouth. And so that was the fantasy for me. And that was before I knew what cuckqueaning was. Like that was what I wanted so badly. So that's where it started. It started with that fantasy, but now over the years, it's progressed into a very internal battle of sitting with myself if I'm feeling the jealousy or the anxiety. It's like a game for me now, being able to take all of that negative, disgusting, like insecure feelings and that abandonment stuff that I'm blessed with from my past, and turning that into like nothing, just an emotion that just goes away.
So having power over your own emotions. So it's not only, it sounds to me like a sexual thing, it's like this emotional empowerment thing that you're experiencing.
Very much so. Yeah. It started, and there's a sexual component to it as well. He comes home after playing and showers. Like that's the thing. You get home, he showers, brushes his teeth, gets in bed, and then we fuck. And it's like claiming him back.
Reclaiming. That's the reclamation part. So this started in a swinger situation where you were involved. So you would watch, you were present, you would do the cleanup. Did you ever get to live out that fantasy?
Oh, yeah, a couple times. Oh, yes.
It's so funny how I actually came upon the whole terminology, the cuckquean and the cuckold thing, and why started searching out people to talk to was you know how sometimes when you're watching porn and you're scrolling through porn and you're in the middle of masturbating, so it's not like you really want to fuck around with switching things you're watching. And I found myself watching a cuck, and like the man was doing the same thing. He would wait until the woman was done getting fucked and he'd go and do the cleanup. And I was like, okay, mid masturbation, I'm like, what am I watching? I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then I'm like, oh. Yeah. It was this weird, and then I went back for more. So it started out where you were there, but now you're not always there. Are you there? So explain this evolution.
Gosh. Yeah, at the beginning, I was always there. That was part of our swinging journey. It was like always together. It was always the same room. Eventually,
what?
same room. Like we were
Oh,
on the same
you were
bed.
in the same
Yeah.
room. Okay.
And then eventually it turned into me like just going through the motions and being like, I'm done fucking other people. Like, I just want to relax. You go fuck if you want. Like, I don't care anymore. And so it turned into him trying to find other couples to go play with or other single females. And I would stay home. And so it was able to turn into, turn into what it's become just from going through the motions, I suppose.
So are you there anymore, or has that stopped?
I haven't been there in a while, and I couldn't even tell you the last time I was there.
Can I ask why?
Yeah, you totally can. I think that I don't know. Maybe I don't know why. I think I just kind of needed time for myself. I've just like totally been focusing on me and my growth and making sure that I'm strong and I'm solid, and putting my energy into other people just wasn't something that felt right to me.
Mm-hmm.
So there I was at home.
You are at home, and does he have regular people that?
He does. Yeah, he does. And it's hard for a single fella to find anybody to play with ever. So
It is.
But yeah, he has a couple that he plays with. He goes and joins, and then he dates women. I think he's dating one kind of seriously right now, but I don't ask him about it.
So that's not part of your Cuckqueaning then?
It is, because he goes on dates with her, and he leaves or goes out to go out to dinner and then have sex. And so like there's all of that, me sitting there and feeling it.
Mm-hmm. And do you fuck him every time he comes home?
No.
You're like,
No.
not anymore.
No, in my fantasies, yeah, I would do that. I would reclaim him every single time, and it would be primal and passionate. But the reality of it is sometimes he comes home and I'm like, don't fucking touch me. Like, I'm just repulsed, which is unfair. But
So sometimes it just doesn't work for you. And just interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not always like fantasy world. And I don't know what the switch is. I don't know. So
I love that you share that part of it.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense. And I mean, in any kind of relationship, monogamous or not, you just have those times when you're like, I should be turned on right now. And right now, I need you to get the fuck away from me.
Yeah. And it's so hard because on his end, I'm telling him like, go, I'm fine. Go have fun. And then he goes and has fun and does like what I said that I'm like okay with. And he gets home and I'm like, it's just a mess sometimes. So
that's
life, I think.
Yeah, that's life, and that's sex. So I'm going to ask a question that I think everybody listening will want to know. Is the role ever reversed? Is he ever in the cuckold? I still am learning this role.
I know. I never know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
No. There's a humiliation aspect that goes into the cuckold lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And that's not a part of our lifestyle. Mm-hmm. I don't know that that's a Cuckquean thing. I think I've seen it sometimes. Like,
I think it can be.
Yeah, it certainly can be. It's just not a part of our world. But the cuckold is for sure a humiliation thing. Mm-hmm. We do. I think stag and vixen is more of what we would.
Is this a thing?
Yeah.
That's a kink?
That's, so there's like cuckolds and hot wives, and there's stags and vixens. Oh. And so the stags and vixens are more of going out and having fun with other people, but there's no humiliation. It's like the same thing. It's just different flavor.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to write a like dictionary terminology article on this where she explores life and all of these different things because it does get complicated, but that's because there are variations to everybody's interests, right? One size does not fit all in this case.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's actually how it started, how everything started for us was the swinging. He wanted me to find another guy to have a threesome with. He's straight and he just likes to share me. And I like to have sex with more than one guy. I mean, come on.
Right?
Yeah. And so there's an aspect for sure that he enjoys, that he loves to see me with other men, with other women, with other couples. But yeah, the humiliation part isn't there. So.
Right. We're going to have you back on to talk about the male, female threesome. I actually haven't yet gotten into the specifically threesome and group sex scenarios, but because there's so much to it, but it sounds like you certainly have experience. And I love that your attitude is like, who wouldn't want that?
Right. Yeah. Who doesn't want an Eiffel Tower?
All right. So what I want you to walk me through is the very first time you had him fuck another woman in front of you and you sat back and watched before coming in to clean up the mess.
Clean up the mess. That sounds so romantic. I don't know how you could say romantic, but the first time I just remember we were in a hotel room. We were with a couple. The husband did not want to play at all. He actually wanted to sit back and just watch as well.
He was a cuck in that situation.
I don't think so. I don't know. The humiliation part wasn't there. It could have just been him wanting to watch his wife in ecstasy. So I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
But there we were. And the first time watching my partner with another woman was like everything I could have imagined it would be. There's no jealousy. The word compersion definitely comes to mind when it comes to being there with him when he's having sex.
Can you please define that for listeners?
Oh gosh, define it.
Explain it to the best of your ability what compersion is.
Best of my ability is feeling really like happy and joyous seeing your partner in like the throes of ecstasy in that situation. But just being happy, seeing your partner happy.
Banging away.
Yeah.
Banging away.
Pumping away.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right.
But yeah, seeing him, there's this look that when we catch eyes and we're like looking into each other's eyes while he's having sex with another woman that is indescribable. And that's like one of those moments that affects a relationship without any words being spoken.
In a positive way?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's just a intense feeling. And then seeing the woman like just having so much fun and enjoying herself and getting off like over and over is like amazing. So just sat on the bed, watched him have sex with her. Like I would like play with her, like, I don't know, play with her, kiss her, stuff like that, kiss him, help him out. Like, I don't know. It was just the hands all over the place.
You lent a helping hand?
I did. Yeah, totally did.
You're so kind.
I know. And so I don't know. I love it. I love it so much. I like,
So wait. Don't jump out of the story. You're loaning that helpful hand, making out with them. And then,
eventually, no, I can't say eventually if we're going blow for blow here.
Blow for blow.
I think that a big part of it, because I am so very bi, I love to have my mouth on both of them, either of them. Just any way that I can up the pleasure, I'm all for it. Like I'm just a pleasure bot, in that situation. Like, I don't exist. Like, my feelings don't exist. Like, I am just so hyper focused on making sure that they are like feeling amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the orgasm, like, I think she was like coming, over and over.
Mm-hmm.
But when he came, we discussed all of this before anything ever happened. We got the consent that it would be okay for him to finish inside of her. And, so all of that was already worked out. And
Mm-hmm.
so he was able to do that. And, I just went to town and like went down on her.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, it was amazing.
Right.
And then I just went to town on him, like
Mm-hmm.
just gave him head. And so, yeah, that was kind of.
So then what happens after that?
We high five.
Did you really high five?
No, not
Yeah.
that time.
That would've been awesome.
I did used to high five. We had a couple. Okay, I shouldn't jump from story to story, but yeah,
You can go from one not high five to the other. So
Yeah.
finish off with a couple in the high fiving. I want to know how that goes.
yeah, we had a couple that we played with. Like, they were our couple. We were with each other. Like, I don't know how, we were pretty, we weren't monogamous with this couple, but like
Right.
we were with them. And so every time that him and I had sex, like after when we both came, we'd high five. And like, that was our joke. Like, we would just laugh about it afterwards. And
Yeah.
I don't know, you got to keep it fun and light. So,
Absolutely.
so the high five is pretty much.
But in this case, you didn't high five. You cleaned them up, and then you're like, and the guy, the husband, we forgot about him. In my mind, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's still sitting over in the corner watching.
Yeah,
it all.
he was having the best time.
Wait, was he jacking off? Or
No,
anything?
and maybe he had like issues there or something like that. Like, maybe he wanted, I don't know, like that's another thing,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and so no, he was just the most kind guy ever. Like, he was so sweet. When it was all like, when the sex part was done, usually we just kind of like lay there, just relax, like joke around, laugh, talk about like whatever, just kind of take the energy from like crazy high, like get everybody back down to like resting heart rate before we put our shoes on type of thing. So, yeah, that we had got a hotel room, and so they ended up leaving.
Right.
We stayed in the hotel room and broke the bed in some more.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think what I love the most about this story, like even when you refer to the husband who was sitting in the corner the whole night, it's very compassionate and adoring. And I think that's something that I hope my listeners get out of getting to listen to my different guests and whatever their kinks or experiences are. It's hard sometimes, I think, for when you live in a society that's so brainwashed to think monogamy is the only way, to be able to imagine something outside of that relationship style that's also loving and compassionate and adoring of everyone who's involved.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good example of why specifically this isn't about being an adulterer.
Right.
This is something that does.
It fulfills everybody. It fills everybody's cup in a different way. And that's huge. It's huge when we're meeting new people, when we're going to play with somebody new. Everybody has to have a reason why they're there. And everything has to be valid and consented to, and everybody has to be on board, or else it's just not going to happen.
Right. Yes, this is consensual, guys. So let's talk about the consent when you're not there, how that started. Tell me about the very first time you guys decided we're taking this to a different level. Maybe not next level. It's a different kind of Cuckquean situation.
Yeah.
Tell me about how you arrived to that, and then we'll go into what that was like for you.
It kind of was next level. My partner, he had a fantasy of joining another couple. And so that would mean that I wasn't there. And I am all about helping him make sure that his fantasies are reality. He does that for me, so I am more than happy to do that for him. We had a couple that we're friends with that I actually met on my naughty Twitter, and we met with the sole purpose of playing with them. And I needed to just kind of take a step back from playing at that point. And I mean, I don't know, you can't always be a ice princess and fuck all the time. So,
Right.
Yeah, I kind of nudged him into like, why don't you just talk to them about going over and you go over there and you play with them? Like, leave me out of it. You go fuck her and come home. And so that's what it ended up being. Yeah, they were close by. They're neighbors almost. So,
All right. So you come to this conclusion that you're going to do this thing, and he's getting ready to go out the door. What do you guys do? Like, is there some sort of preparing? Do you send him off with like a lunchbox and a little has a little "I love you" card inside of it?
100%. No. No, nothing that's sexy or anything like that. I like to spend that day. I'm like, don't talk to me about anything that's real life. Like, don't bring up the kids. Don't bring up the bills. Don't bring up money. Like, leave anything that's like real life off the table for the day and just be, you know? So that is.
So to lower your stress.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're already have that level of stress knowing your partner is going, okay, that makes sense. So you shouldn't have to hold on to the fucking real life shit.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care about the kids at this moment. Like, they're fine. I'm not. Like, that's all.
Right.
And no, we started off having rules. And we started off with rules I hate the word rules when it comes to playing now. So I'm saying it like very... in an agitated sense now. But yeah, we had rules that, I mean, just like that I expected him to follow.
Can you tell me what those rules were?
Yeah. I just didn't want him to have anal sex with her, and I just wanted him to wear a condom. That was all.
Those were your, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, can I ask you why you didn't want him to have anal sex with her?
Because at that point, like, it was sacred.
Anal sex was sacred.
Yeah, like he was a one butt man at that point in his life, and
I love this.
That butt was mine.
You know, was that mentioned in it was mentioned in the Swingers podcast. I think I had the same reaction. I was like, really? Like the butthole?
I know.
I guess. Go ahead. No, expand.
So I think that it was anal sex was, you know, at that point something that wasn't super easy for me, and so I don't know, like, so it was. You would have been jealous if there was like a woman who could just slide in. I'm like, ugh, whatever. You can't have that much fun, okay?
That's awesome.
So yeah, and there's also a taboo factor to the back door that is like such a turn on. And I feel like that was like the one thing that I was like, well, let's just leave that between us. Like, let's let that be our passionate taboo thing.
All right.
So that was at that point. Now I don't give a shit what he does.
Literally,
just don't bring that shit home.
I'm gonna wash that off wherever you're at, my friend.
Yeah, hose it off.
Oh, God, that's great. I think it's also fascinating to me that it's come up in 2 podcasts now in this situation.
Yeah.
In what is non-monogamous situations, apparently the butthole becomes golden.
Yeah, well, it's golden anytime, really, isn't it? Like, it's probably just a carryover from the monogamous culture that we've all been raised in. So
that's right. One butt people. Yeah. All right. So that was it for the rule.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was it for the rules. I'm sorry. I was just.
You just thought of something.
Yeah. No, nothing. Nothing exciting. That was it for the rules, though. And that was like as simple as I could keep it. At this point though, we're at boundaries where it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what my boundaries are anymore. Like, I've just had to let go of so much over time and realize like he's coming home.
All right. So now he was not allowed to stress you out during the day. He left. You said goodbye to him. Did you see him out the door?
Yeah, for sure. I walked to the car with him, big hugs and kisses, and told him to have fun and made sure he had lots of condoms and sent him on his way.
Lube? Did you give him lube?
No.
Oh, God. Okay.
No, I was like, that lady better have lube.
She needs her own fucking lube. All right. So this is the one situation where our mantra of bring lube is actually, it's up to you. If you're having Cuckquean's male partner over to bang you, you better provide your own fucking lube because the Cuckquean is not responsible for easy entry for you.
No,
right?
I could with my mouth, but not with lube.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry, I can't help with that.
You have to invite her. So he's out the door. You've packed him off in the car with condoms. And what do? What is that? How long was he gone? And what did you do with yourself while he was gone?
He was gone probably 2.5 hours or so. And I just like putzed around the house. It was summertime. I remember so vividly. I was on a Zoom call. Like I think it was during like 2020. It must have been. But yeah, I was on a Zoom call with my 2 girlfriends and we were just chatting and living our life. I was just trying to keep myself busy. Like I just didn't want to sit and like realize what he was doing. And so I just kept myself busy with friends, with probably like cleaning. And then I got to the bedroom and I was fine. Like once he was gone.
So there was no sexiness for you going on while this was going on?
No. And I think that in my fantasy, so on paper, in my head, whatever you want to say, like this is a much more sexy fantasy that I have going on. Like in my head, it was like, he's going to come home and I'm just going to like take him and reclaim him and we're going to have the most passionate sex ever. And he came home and he showered and we had really amazing sex, but like, it just wasn't, I don't know. It
wasn't what you had thought.
Yeah. The first time it wasn't. There's been numerous other times and yeah, it's amazing. It's just so hard to judge like how I'm going to feel. It's so weird.
So it's interesting to me that even though the first time, it sounds like it was mostly just stressful for you and you had a little sex after, what made you want to continue doing it?
Well, I knew that he had so much fun. And I knew that the couple had so much fun. And I enjoyed that. I'd never want to be like, well, that wasn't what I wanted. Like it didn't work out the way I wanted it to work out. So I just started to look at different avenues of like, okay, well, how can I look at this differently? Or how can I react differently? Or how can I just tried to come up with different like ways to come at it. So
at what point did you start enjoying it? Or have you ever enjoyed it? Like it gets you off.
I think that I do enjoy it. I guess that sounds kind of crazy, but there's a power that comes from letting your man leave your house and go and have sex and have like an amazing time with other people and you not being there. And there's just so much power that I've derived from being able to sit with that and realize like I'm not missing anything. I'm okay.
Right.
And there has been a couple times where I was like, he went with a woman and I talked to him. I asked him to ask her if he could send pictures to me while they were out having sex.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
now that would be hot. I could see that.
Yeah. So I was like getting pictures. And so a couple times that's happened. And that's always like just being a little bit more involved is when it becomes way more like sexual for me.
Right, right. So it sounds like with this kink slash lifestyle experience, it's a combination of sexual gratification, but also personal growth and strength. And I think it seems like also knowing that this person always comes back to you, regardless of how good of a sexual experience they have with someone else. It's you that they want to be with.
Yeah. 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 And that's what it's boiled down to for me. And really the realization that like nobody is anybody's, and no matter what rules or boundaries or anything that I ask for, like whatever is going to happen is going to happen. I just have to trust that he has me on his mind. He has like us, our life, like all of our stuff, you know, in his head. So
it sounds like it's almost a testament though to your relationship. Like you have that much trust, and that he does always come back, and that he does honor you, and that every time that happens, it makes you feel more confident.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. More confident and just closer, and less anxious about the next time. So,
well, cheers to that. Yeah. Cheers to that. All right. So is there ever a time when a woman that he goes with, I think this is would be a common concern. What if she tries to, quote, take him away or lure him away from you or make it more than what it is? I imagine that has to go through your head. Has that ever happened? And if so, how did that go?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that went through my head at the beginning, but that goes back to nobody's anybody's. And if he can be lured, then be lured and be gone, like goodbye. That's just something that I don't even think about. I don't worry about. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just, I don't know if I ever had fear that he was going to be lured, but there's a fear that she's going to be better than me. Like she's sexier than me. She's going to give him better head. Like all this stuff that's like,
yeah, that
kind of irrelevant. Yeah. But yeah, those are the fears. Not that he's going to be taken away, but that the next time we have sex, he's going to be thinking about her. So.
And so has that ever happened? Has any woman tried to interfere in a way that made you uncomfortable?
Oh, 100%.
I was going to say, I'm watching your face clearly. So will you share?
I don't know. I'm happy to share. But yeah, those were tough times.
Tell me about how it happened and how you knew about it, because it's not in front of you, right?
Right. Yeah, so we've had our ups and downs for sure. Like our relationship hasn't always been amazing.
Nobody's is.
Yeah. Especially not when we're such a sexually driven, like it's such a sexually driven relationship.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say it like that, but sex is very important to both of us. And
I don't think anything's wrong with that.
Right.
It resonates.
Yeah, for sure. And so, there's been a couple really rough patches, and the last one was one of my friends who he also chatted with, and they were starting to plan getting together and having sex like behind my back. She was engaged. It was behind her fiance's back. And I knew because I'm just in tune with the guy I live with. Like,
right.
He starts treating me differently, and I know immediately, like, something's fucked right now.
Well, and so that would then be a great example of the difference between the Cuckquean relationship / situation and then what verges on adultery, right?
Oh, 100%.
I mean, because the Cuckquean thing is all up front and in your face, and this was different than that. Now, I think that listeners will be like, well, see, it led to that. I don't know if you would agree or not. I would say this happens all of the time in monogamous relationships. I don't think the two are related. And I just want to state that. You haven't said that. I'll ask you your opinion. But before anyone heads down that path, this situation that you just shared about him talking with her behind your back, all of that, I am willing to bet a good 90% of the monogamous listeners out there have had times when they're like, who are you talking to over there?
Oh, 100%.
Why are you smiling? Like,
yeah.
Right. And this has nothing to do with you being, you two having that element. So,
No. And you're right. This would happen whether we were monogamous or we were not monogamous. Eventually, just the person that he is, he would have started wandering. Right. And that's just the way it is. The reason why we're still together right now, I would think, is because that we are in the lifestyle and we have this intense base of communication that we're already working off of. And so we were able to sit with each other for months and be completely vulnerable and raw and open about, why things happened, what happened, and take responsibility for his part. I'm not taking responsibility for somebody lying.
Right. No.
But, I can at least be empathetic with where he was.
Right.
And, that's not something that I've really ever seen a monogamous couple be able to make it through. So,
yeah, I would say when I'm talking to my friends about cheating and stuff like that, the truth is in situations where cheating happens, usually, and I've been cheated on far too many times to care to share, but usually I can see kind of where on my end I had responsibility, not with their choice, but whether I stayed or whatever was going on between us that I was feeding into that created, so I think that you're right. I think it is a testament to be able to sit and talk through and work through things.
Yeah.
Have you ever had someone that you did agree to? So it was within your Cuckquean relationship, female that you had agreed to that he was going to have sex with, then turn around and try and shift that relationship and pull him away?
No, that hasn't happened.
So within that context, the trust is solid and the people are honest and ethical.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
That's what I was, when I originally asked this question, I assumed you were going to say, oh, this woman who said this was all she wanted, but then it turned out she wanted this. And that's not the case. So
no, it's the men. Like if I'm talking to a guy, it's the men that try to pull me away.
Oh, interesting.
Never the women. Right. Women can get I shouldn't say it like that, but women have so many people to choose from.
Right.
If they meet somebody like my guy who's committed to, in a relationship, but totally upfront and honest and open about what his intentions are, and clear with his relationship status, then she knows she's safe to stay and have some fun and keep dating and be safe and knowing that it's just gonna be fun.
Right.
So.
She gets to get laid, have fun. She can continue dating, and if she finds someone else, she does. Mm-hmm. So, what would you say to? Let's shift a little. I want to make you the advisor. If this resonates with a woman out there right now listening, or any listener out there who's like, "Oh, I experience these feelings," and I wonder. We're going to have to look it up. There must be a term that's similar for people who are non-binary or don't fit into this heteronormative.
The queen thing.
Yeah, well, it's kind of how does that apply to lesbians? How does that apply to, gay men or whatever? So anyways, I don't have that information. Do you have that information?
No, I've never even thought about it.
So many of these terms just were created with different identities in mind. But let's say a human says, this resonates with me. I have these feelings. What would you say? What's the next step? How do they move forward with experimentation or initiation?
I feel like it was so nice for me to be able to be there with him and watch how he is with other women, and then know that like I'm always on his mind, basically. Like, he's having fun, he's in the moment, but he's not like doing it to get out of his reality. He's doing it to enhance our reality.
So you're saying being in person to start with is your advice?
Yeah, I would say be there.
How would you bring this up to a partner? If you haven't discussed it, what if you haven't even really at this point dabbled in group sex?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I keep having fantasies about my person banging someone else.
I think a really safe route to go would be either a sex worker, or cam girls, or something along those lines, where your person can have chats, have some one-on-one interaction with another person. And that's a more controlled, like, that person is safe and, their intentions are just the sex.
Right. That's so smart. That when I thought about the question, that did not come to my mind at all, but I think you're right. Sex workers would be perfect for this.
Yeah. I think that they're undervalued when it comes to threesomes, the unicorn hunting. Like, just get a sex worker,
Right.
Like, that's what they're there for. I wouldn't ever try to do it with any friends. I wouldn't do it with people that you work with, that
God.
Just don't shit where you eat. And but being there, I think starting slow, if you're not doing anything as of right now, starting slow with like the cam girl thing. I just feel like that's such a safe way to get your toes wet and feel like you're still in control.
Right. Now, so people who do this, our Cuckqueans, aren't always swingers. Is that correct?
Oh gosh. I don't think, no, they're not always swingers. A lot of times, and a lot of things that I've seen, because I follow a couple like Cuckquean blogs and stuff like that. A lot of times it's a couple, a male and female couple, like go to clubs, and they'll find like a hot woman, and the woman is the woman is always bisexual, and she'll like just start a quick relationship with the female and invite her back to the room. And so, I don't know if that's swingerish or not. Like,
no, I don't think that is.
I don't think so either. But yeah, a lot of it's just like party, find another woman, bring her back to the hotel room. And
consensually. Everything up front.
Always.
Everything up front, folks.
Yes.
Don't trick someone.
No.
Don't do the switch and bait. The bait and switch.
Either works.
Yeah.
Don't switch and bait either.
Nope.
Yeah. I think that the club thing is what I've seen a lot of.
Sex clubs?
Nightclubs, just, and who knows? I don't know. I don't know that sex clubs are like I love that they're everywhere out here, but, no, they're not.
The rest of the.
Yeah, they're not going to be in Nevada. Oh, wait, they are.
I think you might be underestimating how many fucking sex clubs there are out there.
I think I might be too.
People are horny everywhere.
Yeah, Nevada was a really, really, really poor choice on my part.
Yeah, because don't they have brothels there still?
Yeah, it's like legal.
Yeah, it's all legal.
No, it's dumb.
Right. It's like the one great thing about Nevada.
Yeah,
it's like only somehow that's
the brothels and leaving.
There you go. I do think, and I do forget, I'm in Portland, Oregon. I think I've mentioned that several times. We are very fortunate for being two horny women to be living in this town because there are sex clubs, a swinger specific one. Have you been there?
I've been to Sanctuary, and that's it.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's the other one.
And the other one.
And the other one.
Yeah.
And one of them is tons of swingers.
Yeah.
Like that seems to be focused on swingers.
Just never our scene, never anything that we were into. Like,
yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I suppose that could be a place to start because people are looking to get laid. Like it's all open and on the table.
For sure.
So, dating apps. Have you had luck with finding partners for this on dating apps?
Oh, yeah. I'm like, cast the net wide.
What is your favorite dating app for this specific kink?
For this specific
Like that you can be open and upfront about it, like on your profile or whatever.
Tinder has worked like magic.
Tinder just seems to be good for just about everything.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Adult Friend Finder is like where we have been.
Don't you have to pay for that?
Well, I figured out how to not pay for it. And so, yeah, I would never pay for that. It's such a jankety site, but yeah, that's worked really, really well. Because it's easy I think that the best scenario is generally another woman that's married who is just looking for fun.
And it's going back to their partner.
Yeah. And there's so much of that on, I guess there's so much of that on everything, but Tinder, even Facebook dating.
I've not tried that.
Don't. It's so stupid.
That's what I've heard. That's what Liberty was on our podcast about online dating, and I think said that was awful.
Yeah, it's a waste of time, but I mean, you just have to weed through so much bullshit. I guess you do on every one of them, but that one's worse.
Okay.
So Tinder has been the best, I think.
Okay. What are the best things about being a cut queen? Best things.
Best things?
Yeah, give me your top 2 or 3 things that are like, this is, if you were selling it, this is how you'd sell it.
Oh, God. The electricity from all the sex is electric. It's just unbelievable. Watching your partner please another woman and knowing that, like, that's my man. I don't know, just so primal, and it's amazing. And then the other part is the power that I feel afterwards, knowing that, like, I have it in me to be able to let him go play and come home, and I have, like, I'm not hurting. Like, I'm safe. I'm fine. That safety is, like, priceless.
So, I mean, everything I create, this podcast, She Explores Life, it's all about women's sexual empowerment. And this is literally empowering for you.
Oh, yeah.
You're saying one of the top highlights is sexual empowerment, and empowerment in general.
Yeah.
So eat that one, folks out there saying it's cheating. It's cheating. No, I mean, this is a choice and it comes with intense benefits for you.
Right.
Maybe not for everybody, but for you. All right. So we've set the highlights. What are the lowlights? If you're talking to someone, you're like, and here are the things that are the hardest and that you have to be prepared to manage for yourself.
The lowlights are the intense emotions, the anxiety, the fear, if you don't know what to do with those feelings, it's going to be really hard until you get that figured out. Really hard. And that is the low, like, that's it. Like, that's something that if you don't have control over it, it's going to break you.
And how do you feel this kink, quote, lifestyle has affected your relationship?
I feel like it's so healthy. We are both getting our needs met. He has this thing where he likes the excitement of something new. And I can't give that to him.
No.
But that's not important to me. And so knowing that, I mean, him having the ability to have that need met has made his side of the relationship, like, just feel so strong, and knowing that the trust is there. I trust him. He trusts me. We can go. We know we're coming home. Like, we know that we're not going to hurt each other. We're not going to make each other look stupid. it's just so empowering.
Right. What are some things that you wish people would get or understand or know about this?
Well, I mean, it's not cheating.
That's a big one.
Huge. I'm not, I feel like I feel like it could be seen that like I'm weak or I'm like a pushover or he's just using the relationship like so that he can have a home and a house and like a steady place and then still be able to just go and fuck whoever he wants. And that's farthest from the truth. And I feel like those are things that
assumptions that are made.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So, got that, guys? Got it?
Got it?
Let's start changing the definition of this very legitimate kink. I keep saying kink/lifestyle because I feel like it's a combination.
I feel like it is too.
And I guess gotta Google that shit.
GTS.
I did a lot of Googling on this topic, and I mostly went to porn sites, and then I was very disappointed in what I did find. I was like, I'm not sharing this. I'm not perpetuating this bullshit. Are there resources? Are there resources for people who want to dabble in cuckqueaning?
Gosh. Not really.
Looks like this podcast, motherfuckers.
Looks like I'm your fucking resource.
That's right. No pressure.
Sorry.
Ellen.
Sorry about it.
Ellen. I guess I need to start researching writing about this.
Yeah. The golden ticket.
Well, I want to thank you for coming to talk about this. Before I start wrapping this up, is there anything left you want to make sure you've said, you want people to know about? This is your moment.
My moment. I think it's really fun to explore. If you're already swinging and you already look at your partner and are just so turned on by watching them with another person, maybe think about taking it to the next level and talk about, letting him go and play a little bit and come home. And it's just, the empowerment is unmatched.
I think it would be really interesting to talk to multiple women who are experiencing this and see what the array of experiences are and thoughts and feelings. Yeah. So this has been very enlightening. Also, it's not just for swingers. It's for all of us dirty motherfuckers out there. Yeah. Just saying. Mm-hmm. But I really appreciate you enlightening us. So I'm going to just do a cheers before we launch into who we are and where you can go to. So cheers for joining me and being brave enough to share what I feel is a very shamed kink. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well.
All right. So.
No shame in my game.
Ellen, you have been marinating those socks for the last hour while you talked to me about lots of sexy stuff. Yeah. So I want to take a moment for you to share where people can. You have an OnlyFans account. You said you've got your dirty places. If someone else is like, hey, you're dirty. Oh, you do, Ellen. But I feel like there's somebody out there listening to this that might be like, I want some Ellen socks.
You want some of my socks?
I want some post podcast Ellen socks. Yeah. So tell people where they can go to find you.
So my OnlyFans is PNW. So it's just PNW _ Bella BELLA. And it's free. So go ahead and peruse all you want. I have a not safe for work Twitter and it's at mermaidsper. And we'll link it. I can send you the link for it.
Sure. Per PURR.
Yeah.
At mermaids PURR.
Yeah. Yeah. And on my Twitter, there's links for everything else. So
nice.
Yeah. So the OnlyFans is linked on there as well. So,
fun.
Yeah. So people come to my OnlyFans and they love it. And then they reach out to me and they're like, can I buy those panties from you? Huh. Fuck yeah, you can.
We've got to do a whole podcast on that because I have clearly gone into the wrong occupation.
It's It's a part-time gig for me.
It's a
for
side
sure.
hustle. This is
is
a true side hustle.
It is, yeah. Yep. My socks. Yeah, nothing's sacred anymore.
Yeah, was it ever?
Who cares about socks?
Who cares?
Somebody does.
So if you have questions for Ellen, or if you would like to join me and Ellen talking about this topic, if you're another cuck queen, and you would like to join us for a threesome, foursome conversation, I would love it. I feel like this is a topic we can do more and more on and learn more about what other people's experiences are like and shed an accurate light on it, because it doesn't seem like there's that much out there. Likewise, I am looking to talk to someone who's in the opposite relationship and has a cuckold. I believe that's how I think language wise, I'm saying that correct. So I'd love to talk to a woman who has a partner that is a cuckold and cleans her up after she's been banged by another guy. I don't even know how to talk about this. So new to me. I'm very curious about this. And I want to, again, shed a positive light on it. So you can reach out to me at ANNETTE@sheexploreslife.com and at Annette at sheexploreslife.com. Head over to TikTok. I launched a TikTok account that is Locker Room Talk Podcast. I believe that's my handle, and it's doing quite well. I'm covering a lot about what it's like to be bisexual. I am covering a lot about my 365 days of orgasms challenge and how that's going. You can also find me on Instagram, Being Benedetti, my own account. You can find Locker Room Talkin' Shots on Instagram, Facebook, She Explores Life, Instagram, Facebook, and finally, there's also my YouTube channel in it, Benedetti. Articles will be going up, and I'm definitely going to write some articles on this topic at She Explores Life. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. Don't be afraid to reach out, DM me, and email me. So I think that's it.
All right.
Until next time, thank you, Ellen. I can't wait to talk to you again here.
So much.
Cheers. We'll
Cheers.
see you in the locker room.